Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Turnbuckle. Yes, the show finally has a name. Your source for all things wrestling news and WWE content. So, no, we know I'm a little behind schedule. My fault. Uh, got distracted. So we're gonna start off with January 15th edition of Monday Night Raw. Cody Rhodes started the show. He was gonna talk about finishing his story once again, but was interrupted by Drew McIntyre, who then brought up the fact that the last match they had together uh, was in a different promotion before Drew came back to the company. Then Drew once again went on to complain about all his misfortune, how he's been treated, and how he doesn't have a title. Cody then turned it around on Drew before ending the segment, asking about their last match, and then pretty much asking Drew McIntyre if he remembered who won that match. With the look on Drew's face, it was pretty much solidifying the fact that Cody Rhodes had won that match, which, after doing some further research, that was the case. Uh, so the first match of the night was a tag team match between DIY and Judgment Day's JD McDonough and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. DIY won the match. Phenomenal match. With they had counter after counter, high flying moves after high flying move, and honestly, it's like that DIY is gonna be being pushed for a tag team championship later down the line. And that match was an S tier match. Next match of the night was Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae taking on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. The winner was Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. It was a B plus tag team match. Again, you guys have already heard me on my stance on the women's tag team. Then we were treated with the return of Gunther. He talked about how he almost won last year's Rumble, and he stated just how long he lasted, coming in around, I believe, entry number 1. He was an early entrant, I remember that. He declared himself for this year's Royal Rumble. He also talked about what Ludwig Kaiser did to Kofi Kingston last week before being interrupted by Xavier Woods. Woods then called Gunther Ludwig's daddy. The crowd chants followed. Then a match was made official. So, match number 3 of the night was Ludwig Kaiser versus Xavier Woods. That match ended in a DQ, with Ludwig Kaiser winning due to the fact that Xavier Woods used an announcer's chair against Ludwig, who tried to use it against him first. That was an A+ match. This next match was another match that really makes no sense, but was hilarious either way. It was Akira Tozawa versus Ivar of the Viking Raiders. And surprisingly, Tozawa got the win from power bombing somehow off the top rope Ivar and doing that powerbomb into a pin combination for the 3 count. It was an S+ match. Fucking hilarious whenever these two got in the ring. Let's see. And let's see. I said this match was, in my notes, I put this match was phenomenal. The Raiders did not like that. Next, we were treated to Rhea Ripley coming out to put the women's division in its place, with her being on top, of course. Becky Lynch came out saying that Rhea Ripley was better than her, but she had to prove the opposite, setting up a future match. Maybe with Becky winning the Royal Rumble, perhaps? I doubt it. People are voting for Bayley to win. Shinsuke also confirmed his participation in this year's Royal Rumble. Next match of the night was the Awesome Truth taking on Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Damian Priest, the Tag Team Championships, but this was not for the title. Judgment Day won through some shenanigans of R-Truth, being hesitant on fighting his quote-unquote Judgment Day brothers. It was an A-plus match. Next, match 6 was another tag team match, a bunch of tag team matches this time on Monday Night Raw. It was a B. It was graded as a B. We had Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler taking on Tegan Nox and Natalya. Stark and Baszler won the match. Again, not really a memorable match. It was good enough to get a B, but that was about it. Then we had the main event being Seth Rollins versus Jinder Mahal for the World Heavyweight Championship match. An S-tier match. Phenomenal between these two. However, Seth Rollins did sustain an injury during this match and will be on, as of this recording, will be on tonight. Will be on Monday Night Raw on the January 22nd edition of Monday Night Raw to update us about his future as champion with this injury. What that means is he will either have to vacate it, pull a Roman, and not have a fight until WrestleMania, or just vacate it with a new champion being crowned tonight. Or perhaps they could pull a Brock Lesnar and have the Men's Royal Rumble match be for the World Heavyweight Championship if he has to vacate it. I'm hoping he doesn't, because then that would just throw a wrench into WWE's plans, and it will just throw everything out of whack. Moving on to SmackDown. We opened up SmackDown with the SmackDown on January 19th edition of SmackDown. We opened up to a Fatal 4-Way contract signing. Roman Reigns ended up not coming out and sent Paul Heyman in his place. Nick Aldis, my new favorite GM, pretty much then stated that if Roman does not sign the contract by the end of the night, then the match will be a triple threat match at the Royal Rumble for a vacant undisputed championship. Pretty much saying that if Roman did not sign it by the end of the night, he will be stripped of the title before the Rumble. We were also then treated to another thing that happened on SmackDown before I get into the matches. Bobby Lashley's team, aka The Pride, cut a promo on the Final Testament, that being Karrion Kross's new team. Hopefully setting up a future match between them. I would really like to see it. Kevin Owens hosted the KO show with Logan Paul, and they pretty much talked about their match and got into a little scuffle. Nothing too bad. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to say, Monday Night Raw, the January 15th edition, was an S- of a Raw for its grade. Match number 1 of the night was a 6-man tag team match between Latino World Order, or LWO, and Legado del Fantasma. That Legado del Fantasma is the team of Santos Escobar, Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo taking on, I forgot the other names, but taking on the LWO, pretty much, the good guys. And Legado del Fantasma won. It was an A match. Pretty solid of a match between these luchadors. Then the next match of the night was another tag team match with Pretty Deadly taking on Tyler Bates and getting his name back. He is no longer Butch. He is now back to being Pete Dunne, the psychotic wrestler, pretty much. The mastermind of, I don't know what they say, but it's like something like joint manipulation. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates won the match. It was an A+ match. Honestly, I'm glad to see that Pete Dunne has made his official debut and is no longer being held back by the Brawling Brutes and or Vince McMahon. Next match of the night was a women's tag team championship match between Katana Chance and Kaden Carter taking on Unholy Union. Chance and Carter won B plus of a match. Not really much to say on that one. Although, actually, no, wait, my bad. There is something to say. It looks like they are setting up a future shot between Damage Control taking on the Women's Tag Team Championships and possibly winning them with Asuka and Kairi Sane, also known as the Kabuki Warriors. Hopefully that comes to fruition. The next match of the night was AJ Styles versus LA Knight. That match again ended in a DQ due to bloodline interference from Solo Sikoa. LA Knight won. It was an A+ match. The main event was Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa. Randy Orton won the match. It was an A+ match, and then SmackDown ended with Roman Reigns coming out, destroying everyone, or so he thought, signing the contract only to, as he's going to hit a spear on Randy Orton, as always, turns it around and hits an RKO out of nowhere on Reigns, hopefully showing that, giving off a hint that he will be winning the title off of Roman, so that way The Rock and Roman's match will be for tribal chief status and not for the title. SmackDown got the January 19th edition of SmackDown was an A+. In terms of wrestling news, unfortunately, I don't have anything other than Nick Nemeth, also known as Dolph Ziggler, being signed to TNA. And yeah, that's about it. That's about all I got. So I know I'm going to start keeping track of the news articles more and more. And if you guys are wondering about other wrestling shows like NXT, AEW, TNA, all these other ones, unfortunately, that would just be too much for me to try to get through with my ADHD. So I won't be including those unless something major happens, like a superstar gets severely injured, or a former wrestler from another promotion joined their promotion, and so far and so forth, or just something of a major news event. So until next time, guys, remember to always kick out before the 3 count.